Opendoor bounced strongly on Monday, closing up 18.9% at $3.78 after building support around $3.50. That was followed by a muted after-hours effort, a minor pullback of 7 cents, but stability again in the $3.60 zone, showing the buyers are still stepping in. This kind of steadiness is exactly what we want to see after a week of explosive momentum. Today, Opendoor heads into Wednesday still holding its ground. Let's break down what's driving the current narrative and what you should be watching as the pre-market unfolds. First off, the price action. We're seeing a muted open with most gains held overnight, suggesting patience among traders. The support zone between $3.50 and $3.60 is intact, reinforcing that it's a strong base. On the upside, resistance remains near $4.10, a move above that could ignite short-term breakout players. Now let's talk catalysts. The leadership story continues to unfold powerfully. Eric Jackson is still leading the narrative, publicly advocating for Travis Kalanick, co-founder and former CEO of Uber, to take the reins. That's a signal that retail wants bold, disruptive leadership, someone who can scale platform thinking and pivot Opendoor into a tech-first housing ecosystem. Meanwhile, Shrisha Radhakrishna, the interim CEO, continues to earn praise for his accessibility. He's engaging with retail communities directly, demonstrating responsiveness and work ethic. That builds trust, and trust is core to keeping retail support alive. Next, the retail story itself is evolving. Anthony Pompliano tweeted that retail investors today operate like a decentralized hedge fund, driving product suggestions, leadership pressure, and M&A ideas. His point: when retail speaks, companies are listening. The example he referenced was Opendoor's previous CEO stepping down under this kind of pressure. That is narrative power in action. But make no mistake, this isn't just hype. Institutional interest is deepening. Paul Tudor Jones has increased his stake, a signal that smart money is paying attention to what retail has built. Combined with Jackson's consistent long-term bullishness, an $82 price target, the vision of Opendoor as the Airbnb of real estate, that gives the story weight on both sides. From a structural standpoint, the pivot to an asset-light, platform model is still very much in view. Automation, AI, and strategic partnerships, though crypto is more idea than plan now, remain core pieces. This is what transforms Opendoor from an iBuyer into a tech-enabled marketplace. In terms of macro context, everyone's still watching for signs of a Fed rate cut. If economic data continues to stabilize and policymakers lean dovish, the housing market could get jolted upward, a direct tailwind for Opendoor. So here's what to watch today. Support at $3.60 to $3.50. Will it hold again pre-market? If it does, you know this base is strong. Resistance near $4.10. A clean break could open the door to $4.50 or higher. Any social commentary from Jackson, Pompliano, or management, they continue to shape investor sentiment. Broader macro cues, Fed signals, housing data, bond yields, risk sentiment triggered by headlines like geopolitical developments. Trading volume and options momentum. If call buying surges again, that could hint at renewed appetite for breakout risk. Speaking of options, remember, last week, Opendoor was seeing extraordinary volume and call buying. That same dynamic could ramp back up if momentum picks up again. Now, wrap your head around this: a stock holding a newly formed support base, backed by both retail advocacy and institutional validation, a clear long-term vision shaping expectation, and macro catalysts baking in upside. That's a potent combo, and it's why Opendoor continues to be one of the most interesting setups in the market. Yes, price may fluctuate. A correction or pullback today is possible, healthy even. But what matters is that support is intact and the broader narrative remains compelling. So as we head into the pre-market, my watch list is clear. Is $3.50 to $3.60 a firm floor again? Can the stock build volume toward $4.10 and break? Any leadership news or retail influencers weighing in today? What's happening macro, especially around interest rates and housing data? We're entering a pivotal inflection zone. If Opendoor breaks higher, we could see a melt up. If it doesn't, it may consolidate and build a better base for next week. The key will be conviction, from retail, institutions, and markets alike. Today's market will tell us whether Opendoor's story has legs beyond the hype, or if we're just in a short-term respiratory pause. Either way, it's going to be a fascinating follow-up chapter.